As a young girl, Abby Gifford experienced a plane crash after boarding a flight to Florida. However, since then, she has continued to travel all around the world. But why, after the plane crash that she endured, has she continued to travel? After these tragic crashes, what keeps people in love with the idea of flying?
Abby Gifford has always loved flying and traveling when she's able to. Even when she was younger, she had this love of flying. One time, when she was landing, she experienced something she would never have expected.
What do you remember about the day your plane crashed?
I remember I woke up in the morning really excited to head to Florida, and then what I remember was the plane was landing, and then it started to get a little shaky, and then after we were notified that one of the wheels had fallen off the plane, and it was very scary.
As you previously said to me, you said that you love flying and that it was special to you, and why is this?
Well, I really like to see other parts of the world, so to get to those places, we need to fly because they're relatively far away. So, I like to travel, so I think that kind of overpowers my fear of flying.
After your plane crashed, did it impact your feelings on flying? Were you scared to go on another plane again?
My opinion on flying has stayed the same relatively. I think I'm more nervous than before, but I still am okay with going on a plane. I kind of like the feeling of when it gets a little shaky. It reminds me of a roller coaster, but I still get a little nervous when it gets bumpy because of what had happened before.
On an average, more than 1.73 million people fly domestically every day, and that's just in the United States. Dan Zelazny is one of those people who boards a flight almost every week. We asked Dan his opinion on flying in airplanes even after horrible plane crashes.
Well, with how much I fly, I do sometimes get nervous and worried when I'm flying, and usually before I take off, I'll text my kids and my wife and just say hi. I love them. I never get nervous when I'm up in the air. With takeoff and landing, sometimes a little nervous, but usually not too bad. And then you had asked about getting nervous after a recent news story around a plane crash or something like that. And while that's extremely sad when that happens, and you feel bad for people involved, it usually makes me feel a little better about flying because the odds, and there's percentages of only so many, the likelihood of only so many planes having mechanical or plane crash, that when it happens and I'm not on it, I feel pretty good that if the odds are smaller, that it'll even happen with me on the plane. So that, and there's also usually greater or heightened air traffic control and maintenance on planes after something like that. So it makes me feel a little bit better, again, about flying after something like that happens.
After talking to Dan Zelazny and Abby Gifford and hearing their flying experiences and opinions, I believe that depending on how familiar you are with flying and how you feel about it helps lead to less nerves even after hearing about plane accidents. After the plane crash Abby endured, she still continues to fly because she knows that if she became scared after the crash, she would not get to do what she loves, that is, to travel.
Where to begin? And I don't